A prophet is grounded in a reality beyond this world. Jesus as a paradigm as perceived in Luke's gospel. I want to say something about Jesus in Luke's gospel. Luke's gospel is an interesting gospel. Today we celebrate the feast of St. Matthew. Matthew sets his gospel up very differently. But Luke sets up his gospel this way, that Jesus comes and they notice something special in Jesus, that they sense that Jesus is grounded in something, and then he can do things they can't do. And they're not talking about miracles. Jesus can forgive an enemy. Jesus can turn the other cheek. Jesus can, meet bitterness with graciousness and so on. And normally we can't do this because our whole instinctual way we act just goes against it. So they sensed that Jesus was grounded in something outside of this world. And that Luke attributes to his prayer. So Luke's gospel is the preeminent gospel of prayer. In Luke's gospel, Jesus is shown to pray more often than all the other gospels put together. Okay? So, and it's also interesting, in Luke's gospel, it's the only gospel where the disciples asked Jesus to teach them how to pray. Remember, Jesus teaches the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer, in other gospels. But there he has to volunteer the lesson. He has to say, sit down and teach you how to pray. In Luke's gospel, it comes in, Lord, teach us to pray. We want to pray, because they sense he's grounded in something. They want to get to that deep source. And so that's very key. For a Christian prophet, we always have to be acting out of the gospel. Because as we'll see, if we're not operating out of the gospel, we're going to be operating out of anger, or we're going to be operating out of ego, or we're going to be operating out of ideology. There are only three options. So, and the other three will never truly change the heart. Even though they might make political change. Like the Black Panther says, we can change a political structure with violence. You can, sometimes, but you don't change any hearts. Then you just replace one kind of injustice with another kind of injustice. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Dorothy Day, Berger said, no, you can only do it, hearts have to melt. People have to, it has to be something inside of people that changes them, okay? And to do that, it can only come out of the gospel. Daniel Berrigan likes to quote the little line there. He says, monks have secrets worth knowing, which means they pray a lot, okay? And he says, also, if your prophetic stance doesn't save the world, he said, it'll at least save your own integrity and oftentimes your sanity. He's going to come back on that. He says, when you're doing prophetic act, it's not so important even that you succeed. You do good because it's good. You speak justice because it's just. And then God does the rest, or it's out of your hands, and so on. He said, but you do this, first, you're trying to save the world, but you're also trying to save your own integrity. You want to look yourself in the mirror, and also when you're lying on your deathbed, you want to say, yeah, I think I lived an honest life.